when he confronted him after they called him in, and told him that the money was missing. You want to know what part he had in it? Well, it went on, and this old boy, he said, no, I can't do that. He said, I can't have no part of it. He said, well, you are, said, because I filled out the report. And he said, I put your name on the bottom of it, too. But when it all cleared, he would have no part of it. And he was fixing to tell him, he said, I have no part of it, so but my partner took the money. And he was really dealing with that in a big way. And I thought, that's the way we are as Christians. We have to stand our ground. But at the end of the story, what the deal was, they knew he had nothing to do with it, but they had to put him through all of this in order to pin down the other guy. And they had to undercover the guy undercover that was doing the dealing with them to start with. See, because they'd had reports of other stuff missing. And but this guy stood his ground. I thought, boy, that's something. A man to go against everything that he believed, that he wanted, in order to go with what he believed. And he made a statement. He said, if I guilt once, I'm as guilty as the rest of it as the one I'm chasing. And so I thought that was awful good.
Good morning.
Morning, morning.
But God, He's going to give us just what we want, what we'll let Him give us. He's not going to force it on us. And when I first got saved, I was probably one of the luckiest guys in the world, because I knew nothing about God. I thought I did. The kids would talk to me about Christmas, or something. I thought the disciple was the apostle's wife or something, I didn't know. I was all mixed up in that kind of stuff. I thought Moses was the main man, Well, I'm serious. But old God, He took me under His wing. He started teaching. And I didn't get saved when I was 38 years old. I had a lot of rough life behind me. A lot of things that need to be overcome. And He would teach me. And every day, He'd call me on the phone. He made me accountable to Him. And I've often thought about it. It would be so great if men would be accountable to another man that they could trust. To help them through their tight spots, their hard spots, stuff like that. And that's like a lot of y'all probably don't know this, but when I came here, I submitted myself to Jeff. Do I always agree with him? No. Am I with him? Yeah. I'm going to follow him until God moves me. And how important is it to be submitted to my pastor? How important is it to me? It's very important. We had some things going on at other church, and I should have walked. But I didn't, because I was submitted to the pastor. And I kept thinking, well, this is going to work out. This is going to work out. God's going to work it out. God worked it out all right. He dropped me just right flat one night down in the church meeting. And I took 14 different tests. And I found out I had a little deal up here where I bumped my head somewhere. The blood vessel wasn't getting all the blood through like it's supposed to. But I walked out there after them 14 tests with a good report on my health. Ain't treatment fixed this week. And then I started looking for a church. We prayed about it. And they crushed my wife down there in the church. And she wasn't on no part of the Calvary church. And God's bringing her around. And what did God do? God got her up here and got to using her talents in order to lead her where that affect me? Makes my life easier. If he cooks bad, you eat burnt biscuits. You know? Come on, guys, get in here. Well, this is a discussion deal. But you stay right in that Bible there, Danny, because the Bible says that it showed out for self-approved unto God, not man, but to God. And you say, I'm reading this for the Lord right here. Every time you pick that up.
Well, I read it over and over because I'm trying to remember what I did. At this point, I don't remember everything I read, but I want to be able to remember what's in each book.
Well, see, there's a place too, I can't remember where it's at right now, I have to look it up. It's right in there close to where he says, instead of showing ourselves, where he says, hide these words in your heart, that you might have them in the day of need. See, so even though you're not understanding it right now, you're not really comprehending all of it, you keep reading, God's going to use it.
That's why I keep reading it over and over. When I finish the end of the New Testament, I turn right around and start over.
I think the biggest thing I've said before, helps me is I use that daily bread devotion. I get up in the morning and I have my breakfast, I read it before I leave for work every day. And sometime during the day, it always comes back to you. And if you're gonna feed yourself physically, you need to also feed yourself spiritually.
I'm thankful that I got plenty of time. I get phone calls from people, say, what are you doing? I say, I'm reading the Bible. And that's what I tell them every time. And some of them kind of surprised, but they do.
What time you starting, Barbara?
Not till 10.
But, you know, if you hide these words, if you study these words, well, they'll get easier as you go. Thanks for coming, Dave. But God is so truthful with us that a lot of times we think God's out to get us, but God's not. He's on our side. We're not on his side, but he's on ours. And I'm going to read you a little deal here. That's the reason I brought this little book. And, I thought, no, it's on accountability. And it starts off, says, when I need a push to deepen my relationship with God. And this is a prayer. This whole book is this little prayer. It says, Lord, there are some things I just don't really want to ask you for, even though they will be good for me. I know that it will also be hard. This is one of those things. If you answer my prayer, I know my life will be more difficult at first, but ultimately it will be so much more satisfying. Lord, could you please send someone to me who will force me to open up the dark corners of my life. I prefer to keep hidden. May it be someone I can trust with the secrets of my heart. I know that I want to draw closer to you, and I'm going to need someone to challenge me, to hold me accountable for the thoughts and actions and desires I wedge between me and you. I need that person to be firm but loving, to care more about change in my heart than simply my behavior. To be unaccountable means I freely go wherever my desires lead. My sinful nature wants that, but my new nature in Christ knows that I will lead to the consequences I don't want to bear. I'd rather do the hard work now than dealing with the sinful desires. Then do the messy work later and clean up after my sinful acts. I understand it won't always be comfortable, but it's necessary. Lord, please do what's needed, and bring the right person into my life. You know, and to me that was real good in there. There's another one in here just not like that. But you think, well, I don't need nobody, but you need somebody.
I appreciate that, man. That sounded just like me up there. All of what you're saying, what you just read.
But see, that's what God did for me when He sent John into my life. See? And I've had some awful great men of God in my life through the years. When I came to Texas, I thought, my God, what am I into? A bunch of mavericks down here, ain't none of them serving God. Yeah, they were serving God, but they were doing it in a different way. And when I came down here, James Walker was a missionary out of Mesquite Baptist Church, Mesquite, Texas. And he took 12 guys and taught them at a time like Jesus taught the disciples. If God gives him something at 2 o'clock in the morning, you go get a call. If you need it right then, you didn't need it this afternoon, you got it right then. And you had to be accountable enough to him to get up and go whenever he called. And, well, how did that work out with work schedule? They started 2 different crews of carpenters. I didn't fit none of that, but they had 2 crews of carpenters. And done remodeling and stuff like that before they could take care of this kind of stuff. And, I learned a lot from that deal. You know, and learn how to walk with God. And sometimes it would get a little spooky. Old James Walker would walk up to you and he'd say, it's time me and you have personal life class. And he'd look out because he'd tell you stuff about you that only you and God knew. You'd think. But he would get right into your business. And what I'm saying is God has sent people in. And then God sent a man and his wife into Martin Mount's life. And that was the greatest thing. The other had always been just rough work. You know, it's like when you do the framing of carpentry work. Well, then whenever we got down to Dad and Susie, they did the cabinet work, stuff like that on the inside, something that really took some finished work, you know, to do. Excuse me. And one of the biggest changes in my life was Susie. The biggest change in my life's life was Susie. Now, Dad, I trust him with anything I own or got or will do. I trust him. If he tells me something, I believe it. I believe him to be a man of God. That's wrong. But most of the time, it doesn't take that much to change it. You've got so many, it's kind of like them old fish are running, them old whales running around, you know, and little ones hanging off, and barnacles hanging off of them, stuff like that. That's the way we are in life, you know. We've got all that sin hanging off of us. It's just back there, it's like a flopping around. I had a pretty rough childhood, and one of the biggest changes in my life was, and I mean I would deal with it hard, but I could never get around it. One day we was going to eat, and Susie said, Wayne said, I got something I need to tell you. And I said, what's that? She said, you don't trust nobody. And I thought, you're probably right. She said, when you go to God, said, you don't go talk to anybody or anything. She said, you just crawl around the lap of God and you talk to him. And she said, That's all well and good. She said, but the reason you can't love other people is because you don't love yourself. And I wouldn't let people get very close to me. Back in the day. But I was praying to God to change it. And God made the change. And I love people. I can love them unlovely now. Unlovable. I even like Wayne.
Well, I was going to say, I'm married to loving other people, I have a hard time getting them to love me.
But, you know, God, we'll just get out of God what we want. I know we kind of drifted off when we started, but felt like God leading that way. And that's kind of the way He wanted us to go with this Bible study, just us kind of discuss this stuff, not just. I can get down and really teach a lesson. People don't really think so long about when I get doing something like this, but I can teach them. Well, I guess we better kind of bring it to a halt, so